This is Ranworth Broad in Norfolk.
Superficially, particularly on a day like this, wonderful spot. Herons around, few cormorants, few terns. But if you actually start to look a bit more closely, you'll find that there's a whole range of wildlife that's missing. The dragonflies, the damselflies, the fish, basically all gone. It's an impoverished ecosystem. It's an ecosystem that's really suffering very badly indeed. Very close to death.
What's happening? How has it got into this state? Part of the answer is here, in the water. Watch this.
.35 today.
And here, in a neighbouring broad, the water is much clearer. The disk is visible well down into the lake.
See the difference?
Yeah.
The reason for the difference? These, algae, simple microscopic plants.
Algae can grow at a much faster rate, I mean millions of times faster than, say, a water lily or a bit of water milfoil. And what happens is that they will grow during the summer when the nutrients are available, and then they will die, and they die annually, and you get this tremendous body of green tissue sinking to the bottom. Now, if we look at 90 years ago, we know that about 1 millimetre was being deposited each year from the water onto the bottom. Now it's over ½ a centimetre. That excludes light and oxygen from the bottom. And of any water system, the bottom is by far the most important bit. Without oxygen and without light, nothing much else can live at all.
The process is called eutrophication, and it's changing the nature of the Norfolk Broads. Algae in these quantities block out light, and most plants need light to grow. As algae die and decompose, the oxygen in the water is used up, so there's none left for anything else. The disruption to the food chain below the surface of the water at Ranworth had a knock-on effect up above. Birds which had previously fed on water plants turned instead to the reed beds on the fringes of the Broad. The reed beds were slowly destroyed. Because there was then no protection for the banks of the Broad, the soil was gradually eroded, leaving tall trees at the side of the water with their roots exposed. They too died and toppled over. The shores of Ranworth Broad are littered with dead and dying trees. As the fish population dwindled, so the water birds went elsewhere. It became a large-scale catastrophe. But where did the algae come from? Algae live in most bodies of water, and like all plants, they need food. Nutrients such as nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. The availability of food determines the size of the population. So what caused the population explosion? The answer: nitrogen. All living things need nitrogen to grow. Plants take it in from the soil in the form of nitrogen compounds. Animals eat plants and so take in nitrogen as protein. Humans eat plants and animals, so we get nitrogen from both. Fortunately for all of us, there's a plentiful supply of nitrogen. It makes up 80% of the Earth's atmosphere. There is a catch, though. Nitrogen in this form cannot be used by most plants. For that to happen, nitrogen has to undergo changes.